Hi, this is Jeff Nager with AMD World Championship of Custom Bike Building. I'm standing next to Leo from Leo Speed Shop in Connecticut. And Leo, this is a very sanitary bike. Give us an inspiration of where this bike came from.
Well, it was inspired by the Japanese style of building, sort of, keeping it really organic and small, looking pretty simple as far as from a distance, and then when you get on it, you can notice the little details and find, craft and attention to small parts that make the overall package more interesting, I'd say.
I think it's a very interesting design. Talk about your interest in the Japanese culture.
Well, getting into motorcycling, I was always not so sure about what I liked here and there, and then I stumbled upon Japanese bikes, along the internet, and that kind of captured my my eye, and I was drawn to their really simple, sort of organic look, and that's where I began building from. And
well, it's got a very nice design. Let's start in the front end. What are we looking at here?
Well, this is a 48 to early 50s wide glide original Harley fork that I narrowed by around 3.5 inches. I also added some offset into the lower triple clamp because I shortened the fork tubes, and I wanted the same amount of travel as stock. So I moved the lower triple clamp up. That way we get the same amount of travel and the fork doesn't bottom out. And then the headlight cowl is kind of a classic problem that I find, and it's in holding the bulb captive in the headlight bucket. So what I did is I machined a bucket and then a bezel which thread together, and that pinches a headlight and holds it captive there. And the rest of the cowl is all hand-formed aluminum, welded and sanded and polished up.
It's got a very nice look to it. It almost has a Cole Foster kind of a flair to it. I like your internal throttles and clutch system.
Well, yeah, it's the brake. Well, the front brake is internal and the throttle as well, because I wanted to keep the bars really clean and simple and have just a nice flowing, uncluttered look to it. And so I ended up hiding the front master cylinder in the gas tank area in the frame. So that took actually a lot more work than I intended, but
well, it looks like you got a lot of space in the gas tank to do that.
Yeah.
So that's a hand-formed gas tank, and the welds look like pieces of art themselves.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I pride myself on ability to weld, especially aluminum. Everybody complains about aluminum being difficult to weld, but I find it rather easy. It seems to flow really nicely, and you just...
Well, you're one of the few aluminum savants welders.
Thank you. Yeah, I suppose,
Hey, talk about your engine, what you've done to that, if you breathed on it some and beefed it up.
Well, the engine came off of Acme choppers in New Hampshire, and I took it apart upon receiving it and inspected the bottom end, which seemed to be in excellent shape actually. So I replaced the top end cylinders, pistons, the heads are brand new. That's about it. It's pretty simple, standard shovel head stuff.
Now, is the frame standard geometry?
Yes, the frame is exact Harley specifications as per the rules for AMD, but I added little interesting forgings and stuff. If you'll notice in the seat area, there's these heart-shaped forgings, which I found out of a barn, one of my great uncle's barns, which most of these little trinkets come from, like the caps and these little petcocks and all the brass pieces. So other than that, it's completely stock frame.
I see wing nuts are a theme here.
Yeah, like I said, this is all stuff that came out of a barn, and I guess, back in the day they wanted to make things easy to take apart, so it's all like farming kind of stuff. and wing nuts it is.
I like the seat. It was hand done by you. The last thing before you came here, right?
Yeah, actually a funny story. I was working so hard to get the bike done for the AMDs that the seat, I kind of kept putting it off, and finally I pulled an all-nighter with my girlfriend. She sewed the seat, and I kind of like helped her along the way and got it done, and I'm pretty happy with it overall.
Nice. It's nice that it can be a family affair.
Yeah.
Hey, talk about the rear fender. I really like the way that's done, and you know, I like the monochromatic paint scheme you decided upon.
Oh, thank you. Well, the rear fender, like tail section, however you want to refer to it to, is just aluminum formed, and I wanted to keep the oil tank really clean, so without a filler. So I end up putting the cap in the rear there, and I machined AN fitting and a reciprocating bung to accept that cap there. And I run a -10 AN into the oil tank. It keeps it nice and clean, easy to fill. There's a sight gauge in the side of the oil tank, so you know how much oil you have, and it works pretty well.
Well, this is a very outstanding build. Talk a little bit about your business itself, what you do, and what type of projects you work on.
Well, I work on pretty much customer bikes they're younger guys who want to get a custom bike, and we go slow through the build because, you know, obviously nowadays nobody has really any money, so I totally understand that. And I just work with a customer to try and give them exactly what they want at, you know, a fair price. And I'm doing you know, lots of like custom stuff, you know, sissy bars, handlebars, you know, easy stuff that really makes your bike step away from the ordinary. But I've done a couple full builds for people, which is really where the fun part is, and I try to, you know, take their ideas but run with it, and it works so far. People seem to trust me and enjoy what I'm doing, so it's kind of cool. I get to, you know, be expressive and you know, do sort of what I want pertaining to their standards.
All right, well, if somebody saw this bike and wanted to get more information about a build, what's your web address and email address?
Oh, my web address is actually www.leospeedshop.blogspot.com. There's email is on there, but it's leospeedshop@gmail.com. And I'm also working on a website right now, which is taking lots of time and energy, so I kind of just have the blog going, but I try to keep that updated all the time and let people know what I'm doing and how I'm kind of doing it. So it seems to be working pretty well so far.
All right, well, there you have it. Thanks for coming out to the show. It's a great looking bike.
Oh, thank you.
And good luck in the competition.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.